Okay, I'm speaking through the wrong.
Hello, hello. Hello.
I don't know if it is possible for any one of us to remember early childhood when our parents and our teachers were trying to teach us how to pray, how to make wudu, how to memorize the short surahs of the Quran. If you can go that far and remember how stressful it used to be for us to gather all that information and make sure that we are doing our salat properly and that we are memorizing and saying things properly and starting to follow our deen. I'm using this as a jumping point to the people who are going for Hajj for the first time in their lives. So it's the same thing. You can imagine how stressful it is for them to hear words like Muzdalifa, Mina, Ramy al-Jimar, Tawaf al-Ifada, Tawaf al-Wada', praying 2 raka'at behind Maqam Ibrahim, Mabit in Mina, Ayyam al-Tashriq, all of these things put together, one can understand that it will make a very difficult package for someone who doesn't know the landscape, because it will help if you know where Mina is in relation to Arafat, where Muzdalifa is in relation to Mina, where Mecca is in relation to Mina, where are you going to? Is visiting Medina part of Hajj or is it complementary? All of these things, you can understand that it makes a stressful experience for those who have not really been to Hajj and learned what to do by trial and error. Just like this. They picked it up and they said, next time it'll be better. And next time it'll be better. But there are those who cannot go more than once. Okay, so my attempt today, inshallah, is to make Hajj simple and easy, inshallah. And I will talk about the rituals, and I will try, if time allows, to speak about the meaning associated with those rituals. Why do we make tawaf 7 times? Why not until we get tired? Why not make tawaf by putting the Kaaba on our right and moving clockwise? Isn't it better to have the Kaaba on our right rather than putting it on our left and going in a counterclockwise fashion? Why is it that we have to start at Safa and Marwa? Why don't we pick up where it is less crowded and start from there? Why do we have to start at Safa? Why do we have to do things in order? Why can't I, if I come to Sahn al-Kaaba or the yard of the Kaaba and it's very crowded, I'll start with Sa'i and then I'll come? No, I can't. Okay, why? Why is it that I throw jamarat, pebbles, starting with the minor, then the medium, then the major? Okay, it's not actually translated as al-jamara al-sughra, meaning the small jamara. It's not small. Actually, it is symbolic for minor sins, for middle sins, and for major sins. That's what it really symbolizes. So we will talk about that, but let us start with the rituals themselves. So I'm going to talk about the rituals, make them easy, inshallah, and then we will talk about the meaning of those rituals so that when we go, inshallah, things will make sense. But the question I want to ask myself before I ask anybody, do they really need to make sense? The answer is no. Because servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not require us, sorry, I don't understand it, so I'm not going to do it. You know, and I always repeat what Imam Ali bin Abi Talib said, لو كان الدين يؤخذ بالمنطق لكان المسح على باطن الخف أولى من المسح على ظاهره. That if we have to take things according to logic, then it's more logical to wipe on the bottom of the khuf than to wipe on the top, because it's the bottom that collects the dust. But no, we are told do this, we do it, okay? But let us simplify things. How are we going to do that? There's so much. I'll tell you something. In every ibadah, let's start with this. Every ibadah, there are pillars, arkan, there are wajibat, obligations, there are sunan, things that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to do and he did it. There are mustahabbat, recommended things added. There are makruhat. There are muharramat, forbidden things that we shouldn't do with the salat. So basically, there is a gradation, okay? It is not all of the same level that we have to understand. So the definition of arkan al-ibadah, the rukun, the pillar, it's something that if you don't do, your ibadah is null and void. It's unacceptable. So it is a rukun to do ruku'. If I forget and I go from recitation to Allahu Akbar and I go into sujood, and then I remember I cannot make two sajda of sahu, the salat is not acceptable because I missed a rukun, a pillar. But if, let's say, I finished the second rak'ah, I need to sit and I read التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات, but I forgot. I went from the second rak'ah into the third rak'ah. I continue because the julus between the second and the third is a wajib. Wajib. It's not a rukun. Okay? Now, many people don't pay attention to takbirat al-ihram. They come and the imam is in ruku'. They don't want to miss that rak'ah. So they run and immediately, they just go like this. They missed takbirat al-ihram. So you may finish your salat and things, but it's unacceptable. You missed takbirat al-ihram. It's a rukun. So the thing we are going to do is to know what is a rukun, a pillar of Hajj, what is a wajib, what is a sunnah, what is mustahab, and then understand that if I miss the 6 pillars of Hajj, there are 6 pillars of Hajj, 6. If I miss any of them, my Hajj is unacceptable. But I want to tell those who are considering going, it's almost impossible to miss one of those 6. It's impossible, and you'll see why. So don't worry about it, okay? So if it is almost impossible to miss any of the arkan of Hajj, then don't worry. If you miss a wajib, if you miss a sunnah, if you miss a mustahab, it's okay. It's okay as long as you don't do it on purpose because I'm too tired. But at least you know that the rukun you're going to do, and inshallah your Hajj will be acceptable. And if you know the wajib and you do it and you don't miss it on purpose, now according to, I don't want to go into schools of thought, but according to Shafi'i, Imam al-Nawawi, okay, who is one of the big scholars of Shafi'iyya, he says for the wajib, even if you miss it on purpose, you can fix it by offering a hadi or iraqat al-dima. Okay? Now, others say, no, if you miss it on purpose, okay, you are going to make it like it is a pillar if you do it on purpose. But if you forgot, then you can offer a hadi. Now, Shafi'i says, no, whether it's on purpose or not on purpose, you can give a hadi and everything will be fine. So let us see what are the 6 pillars of Hajj we have to do. Number 1, al-ihram. Al-ihram. And we'll talk about ihram. Many people think that ihram is when you put the 2 sheets of white cloth. That's not true. We will talk about that. So number 1 is ihram. Number 2, al-wuquf bi-Arafah. Number 3, Tawaf al-Ifada. Number 4, sa'i of al-Hajj. Sa'i, between Safa and Marwa. Number 5, shortening or shaving of the hair for men and shortening for women. That's number 5. Number 6 is to do these 5 in order. See? Ihram, Arafat, Tawaf, sa'i, shortening or shaving, and doing these 5 in order. These are the pillars. That's it. That's what you have to do. Okay? Now, if we miss any of those, if I don't do ihram, you missed it. If I don't stand in Arafat, and we will talk about what's the extent of standing in Arafat, okay? So it is a pillar. Tawaf al-Ifada, it's a pillar. Sa'i is a pillar. Shortening and shaving, it's a pillar, and doing it in order. So 6. Now, wajibat, these are the things that if we miss, then we can fix it. Like if we miss the sitting between the 2nd and 3rd, we can fix it by sujood al-sahw, okay? And this we can fix by offering a hadi. If we miss it, forgetting. What are those 5 wajibat of Hajj? So 6 pillars, 5 wajibat. Number 1, yes. Hadi is sacrificing an animal. Okay, if we sacrifice an animal while we are not going for Hajj, we call it udhiyah. If we do it, as part of our Hajj, it's hadi. Okay, so it's just basically different name. Now, the 5 wajibat or 5 obligations. Number 1 is to do the rukun of ihram at or before one of 5 locations called miqat. So that's why people who are going directly to Mecca to do the Umrah before the Hajj, and I'll talk about Tamattu' and Qiran and Ifrad, okay, which are the 3 formats of Hajj, but I will talk about that. So while in the plane, they tell you, we are going to pass the miqat. So we will talk about the ihram. That's when you start your ihram. You are already having the white sheets for men. For women, there is no clothing requirements of ihram. They can be in their regular clothes, that are covering all the body. They are not tied. So for women, no clothing requirements. For men, we will talk about the requirements, but the ihram is to start with talbiyah, labbayk Allahumma bi'umratin mutamatti'an ila al-hajj. We will repeat that, inshallah. So it will be, the first wajib is to do the pillar of ihram at or before the miqat. That's number 1. That's number 1. Number 2, wajib is to throw the pebbles at the jamara. جمرة العقبة الكبرى is a wajib. It is a wajib to أيام التشريق, the 11th, 12th, and 13th of Dhul Hijjah, that we have to throw the pebble. This is a wajib. It's not a pillar. It's not a pillar. Now, somebody finished all the pillars of Hajj and is staying in Mina and received a phone call, there's an emergency at home, you have to come immediately. You leave, you finished. You finished. You did all the pillars, okay? You finished. So you arrange to have a plane and you come back and you offer a hadi, okay? To fix the fact that you did not do all the wajibat, okay? So the second wajib is to throw the pebbles. The third wajib is al-mabit bi-Muzdalifah, to stay overnight after you come out of Arafat, to stay at Muzdalifah for overnight until Fajr. But there are some exemptions I will mention. So this is a wajib. This is a wajib. Now 1 year, there was no room left in Muzdalifah. They would not let us get off the bus, and they said, keep going. Keep going. No room, okay? So we could not stay in Muzdalifah. We passed through Muzdalifah, okay? Nothing wrong, okay? So this is the third one. The fourth one, al-mabit bimina. Al-mabit bimina, to stay for 2 nights, the 10th going into the 11th, and the 11th going into the 12th. But you may stay 12th going into 13th. Okay, فمن تعجل في يومين فلا إثم عليه ومن تأخر فلا إثم عليه لمن اتقى. If your purpose of doing what you're doing is taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so this is a wajib. So these are 4. And then number 5 is Tawaf al-Wada'. This is a wajib. It's a wajib. But let's say one of the sisters, before Tawaf al-Wada', she got that time of the month and she could not go to do Tawaf al-Wada'. No problem. Absolutely no problem. And she doesn't even have to offer a hadi for that, because women have a certain modification of the fiqh of Hajj than men do. So 5 wajibat. 5 wajibat. These are the ihram at or before the miqat, throwing the pebbles in Mina, mabit or staying overnight in Muzdalifah, mabit or staying overnight 2 nights or 3 in Mina, and number 5, Tawaf al-Wada'. Now, we will talk about how we are going to put them together, okay? Because, you know, they come together, the arkan and the wajibat, they can be put together. Now, the sunan, yes. You do one hadi. Yes, no, that, and some people say that, you know what, I did everything, but just in case, no, there's no just in case. Okay, some people say, let me give a hadi, just in case no. It's like somebody with every salat saying, I'm going to do 2 sujood sahu, just in case. No, there's no just in case, okay? Don't let shaitan dictate, okay, how comfortable you were in doing what you did, okay? So no, just one, and you don't just do it just in case. Yes. Now, the sunan. Let's talk about each of the pillars or the wajibat and see what are the sunan that are attached with them, which mean that, and I'll talk about the mustahabbat as well, okay? Which means that if you leave a sunnah on purpose, you have done something as if to say to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I honestly don't think you did it the right way, or I don't think it's necessary. And that is not the right way to establish our relationship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you, going back to the wajibat, if you, according to the Shafi'i and the Hanafi and Malik, that if you missed a wajib on purpose, it does not invalidate your Hajj, but it makes you athim, okay, that you have committed a sinful act by doing it on purpose. If you forgot, then there's nothing to worry about, okay? Now, let's start with Ihram. Let's start with Ihram. Now, there are preludes. There are things that you have to do before you will do the Ihram. And among the things that are Sunnah, they are Sunnah, is to clean unwanted hairs of the body. This is a Sunnah. Actually, it's a Sunnah that you shouldn't leave unwanted hairs in the body more than 40 days at a time. So especially now that you are going for Hajj, okay, you have before, as you are preparing yourself, okay, you have to clean all unwanted hairs. You have to clip your nails, okay? And you may do that before you leave home. You don't have to wait until you are at the airport in Cairo, for example, going to Medina or you don't have to wait until you are in Medina no, you can prepare, knowing that there isn't a long period of time between that and the actual Ihram, that it will grow again, okay? But if it's a few days, you can do it before you leave home. It's a Sunnah, okay? It is not a wajib. If you don't do it, your Ihram is valid. Your Ihram is acceptable. Some people say, oh, I forgot. Okay. You don't even have to say, shall I slaughter an animal? Give it. No, you don't. This is a Sunnah, okay? Then we put the izar, which is the lower piece, and the rida, which is the upper piece. And we do not put anything underneath them, okay? Now, when we do that, we are getting ready for Ihram. Many people confuse that, when they see somebody with these garments, they say this person is in Ihram. No, not necessarily. This is just getting ready, okay? Some people, if they are getting ready and they are outside in the heat and they put, a cap, okay? It's okay because you did not go into Ihram yet. But once you start your Ihram, before you do that, you have to take everything on your head if you are a man, okay? And this is a Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 50 degrees, you don't have to worry about it. But what about Dr. Saqqa? He'll be in big trouble. Okay, so this is again, it's Sunnah. Now, the foot, what you put on your feet, it is a Sunnah. It's a Sunnah to expose your heels. But it's mustahab to add to that your toes. So if you have Crocs, for example, the Crocs, they are not open in the toes area, but they are open at the heels area. That's fine. That's fine, okay? It's fine. If it is exposing your heels, that's all you need to do, okay? But to be on the careful side, extra careful, step on that strip, okay? Don't put it up, because it may fall as you are running between the two green lights, and so no, put it under your soles, okay? So you did that, and now you are ready. It's a sunnah, it's not a wajib, to take a ghusl before you put on these garments. This is a sunnah again. I didn't have time, they are opening the gates and I have to go, and don't worry. If you did not take that ghusl, your ihram is fine. Many people get nervous. Oh, I missed clipping my nails. I did not take a bath. I did not do 2 rak'at sunnat al-ihram. By the way, there's no such thing as sunnat al-ihram. There's no such thing as 2 rak'at sunnat al-ihram. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did his ihram all the time after dhuhr or after asr. He prayed salat al-mafruḍah and then he did his ihram. Okay, but people who are going to do it and unable to do it after zuhr or after asr, they are praying 2 rak'at mustahab. Tahiyyat al-masjid. Okay, people, if they are coming from Medina, they are going to stop at Masjid al-Shajara at Abyar Ali, and they go there, and it's Tahiyyat al-masjid. Okay, and it is mustahab, not even a sunnah, to recite after the Fatiha of the first rak'ah, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, and to recite after the Fatiha of the second rak'ah, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Mustahab. But I read something else. No problem. Nothing. So this is what I mean. People mixing all this information and say, oh, no. If you put it in categories, know that this is sunnah, this is wajib, this is rukun, this is mustahab, you will be able to do it properly, inshallah. Now, yes. Yes.
So if someone his hand is broken and casted, or have broken socks or something like that,
Absolutely no problem. Absolutely.
even though that it sucks.
No problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. Okay? So now, after we take that ghusl, after we pray the 2 rak'at, and now for sisters, no clothing requirements. It's just basically you have your regular clothes and you take the ghusl, like men, you clip your nails, but no clothing requirements. And you have to cover everything, including the feet. Many of the sisters think that they can expose the feet. No, that's not. No, you have to cover the feet as well. The only thing, it's the hands and the face. And there are some who say, no, if there is fitna, you even cover the face, but they put something so that the khimar does not touch the face. But the majority of scholars say this is makruh. It is not, it's on the other side of it's makruh. It's not right. Okay? Now, Hadrat Aisha radiallahu anha, they used to, they quote that they used to, when men pass by their tents or by, they used to put the khimar and hold it until they leave, and then they expose it again. Okay, so this is part of the ihram. And, now we do what is a pillar, and that is the ihram for the Hajj. So what do we do? Now, I don't want to enter into the details of 2 of the 3 formats by which we do Hajj. There is ifrad, there is qiran, and there's tamattu'. The majority, if not the vast majority, do tamattu'. Okay? Now, what is ifrad? Ifrad is to come directly on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. Okay? And you go to Mina, and you basically make your niyyah after the ihram, and from Mina you go to Arafat, Okay, so as we said, the arkan are the ihram for Hajj. So you make the ihram for Hajj, then you go to Arafat, and then you do the other things. Okay, this is called ifrad. You do not associate your Hajj with Umrah. You do not. You just go and do Hajj right away. Very few people do that. Okay. Now the other one is to do Umrah, stay in Ihram, and go to Mina, and from Mina go to Arafat and things. So you do both Umrah, and then you do the Hajj, A'mal al-Hajj, and you do them together with one Ihram. But that's Qiran, okay? Now, for the majority of the Hujjaj, we do what is called Tamattu'. Tamattu', basically, we go and we do Umrah, okay? And by the way, Umrah has, the Arkan al-Umrah are 5, not 6, because Umrah equals Hajj minus Arafat. If we want to use Dr. Saqqa's language. So it is basically Hajj minus Arafat equals Umrah. Meaning, so there is Ihram, there is Tawaf, there is Sa'i, there's shortening or shaving. You will have a trouble with shaving, I don't know what. Okay, and then doing these 4 in order. This is Umrah. So there are people who go and do Umrah, they do Tahallul, they come out of Umrah, they put their thobe, they just, wait for the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. They make now another Ihram for Hajj from where they are in Mecca. You don't go to Masjid Aisha, which is outside or on the borders. No. You at your hotel, you do Ihram again, the same thing as we did for Umrah, okay? And we basically proceed to Mina, and I'll explain what we do with that. So now the language we use when we do the Ihram for Umrah, we say لبيك اللهم بعمرة متمتعا إلى الحج فإن حبسني حابس فمحلي حيث حبستني. Many people forget that one. Now something may happen where you really cannot continue for some reason. Some emergency happened. You can't. If you did not have that in your niyyah, then you really need to offer, hadi, because to come out of ihram, it's not just like that. But if you have said, فَإِنْ حَبَسَنِي حَابِسٌ, on the occasion that I'm unable to continue with the rites of Hajj, فَمَحِلِّي, not mahalli, mahilli, that I will go into tahleel from ihram, حَيْثُ حَبَسْتَنِي, at the time and the place where I am unable to continue the rites of Hajj. That's what happens. So if you say that, no problem. You don't have to offer a hadi. Okay? So this is the way we enter into ihram. Now we came to do Umrah, and we want now, we're going to see the Kaaba for the first time. As we approach Al-Masjid Al-Haram, we make a dua that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us. It's not a sunnah, it's mustahab to make a dua. My mutawif did not, it's okay, I didn't mean to. He's going with the mutawif this year, okay? So, I don't know what's that dua. It's okay. Now, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم وبسلطانه القديم من الشيطان الرجيم اللهم افتح لي أبواب رحمتك and there are other things that some people add to it, but basically you say, Ya Allah, open the gates of your mercy for me. I'm entering the precincts of the Kaaba. Okay, so this is mustahab. As I look at the Kaaba for the first time, Allahumma zid hadha al-bayta sharafan wa ta'ziman wa mahabatan wa qadra. Okay, oh Allah, increase this house of yours with greatness, with sanctity, with status. Ya Allah, this is the Kaaba. I forgot what to say. It's okay. Then I go and I need to start my Tawaf. So I finished the Rukun of Ihram. Now I'm talking Umrah. I skipped Arafat. We will talk about Arafat when we get to Hajj. But now for Umrah, I have to start from where the black stone is. That's where the starting point is. Even though if you enter from the gate that all people enter from, which is gate of Abdul Aziz, gate, you know, it's a huge gate now. So you enter there, you are going to have to go this way to find the black stone. And the black stone is marked basically by a green light on the second floor. You will see a green light because it may be so crowded that you cannot see the black stone. Okay, so when you see that, and you will see a bottleneck, lots of crowds, okay, in that area, you know that this is the black stone. So you come, you say, you know, am I going to lose all this distance that yeah, you know, you wish that you stay there as long as your soul would like you to stay. So you come, and as you become at the level of the black stone, it is, you know, mustahab thing, mustahab, to turn if you dare, because if it's too crowded and the people are moving and you insist, you know, they will push you down, okay? So if it is able, if you are able, you turn towards the black stone and you raise your right arm. Some people raise both arms, and you know, you say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. You may add what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, imanan bika wa amalan bi sunnati nabiyyika wa ta'ziman li baytika. Yani all of these things, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. If you just say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, that is fine. Now, at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were able to do what we are unable to do today. There are three things in association with the black stone. The thing that comes as number one is to kiss the black stone. But it's impossible. Okay, he by the way, I don't know, it was with you when we, you know, they were able to open a pathway for me to kiss the black stone because of what he did, okay? And I'll say it maybe at the end. So kissing the black stone is number one. If you're unable to kiss, you do istilam. You touch it. But even that is not possible, okay? And if you cannot touch it, you do ishara. You do ishara, and that's the ishara, okay? And when you do ishara, some people kiss their hand as a way of saying, you know, I would have loved to kiss the black stone, but I couldn't, so I'm going to kiss my hand. And then they start counterclockwise. It is mustahab, not a sunnah. Mustahab, as you are making your tawaf, to keep looking at the Kaaba, because looking at the Kaaba is worship. Yani you get thawab and ajr just by looking at the Kaaba. So if you can, without losing your balance and falling, so do the tawaf while looking at the Kaaba. Sometimes, you want to find your way, you don't look, then you look again, then and this is basically something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. When you do your umrah and you just arrived in Mecca, the sunnah, not mustahab, sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we may not be able to do it. Actually, we will not be able to do it because of the crowds, is to do what is called ramal. Ramal is to move fast, not run. Some people think that ramal is running. No, it means to move fast and do the first 3 rounds around the Kaaba fast. Then you walk again. Another sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is called idtiba'. Idtiba', which is to expose your right shoulder. You do it only with your first set of 7 tawaf. After you finish, you cover yourself again. Many people keep that format even while doing sa'i. This is not the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, why did he do that? Because the people of Quraysh said, wait to see how the Muslims of Medina, are going to be sick. And Jazakallah khair, ya Allah barik fi, Allah barik fi, Allah barik fi. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So they said they will be so weak, they will be walking, He said, no, we are going to show them that we are going to walk fast. And in those days, it was a sign of chivalry to expose your right shoulder. It shows that you are about to hold rocks up, okay? So he did both of these things so that they will see that, okay? So it became a sunnah. So we finish the 7 rounds. Oh, I forgot. Many people, astaghfirullah, they said you have to memorize the dua of the first shawt or the first round and the dua of the there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Okay, these people made dua and put them in booklets to sell. Okay, but there's no such thing. What am I going to say? Anything. You are there in a place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to us as a gift to make dua, to do salah, so you are there now. You've been making dua from thousands of miles apart. So now you are next to the Kaaba, make dua. I don't know those beautiful du'as, and actually there are scholars who say that those du'as that are full of what is called saja', that they rhyme and they are filled with difficult words and things, are not recommended. They are makruh to use this because they don't touch your heart. So make the dua that is simple, that you really say, Ya Allah, ana biddi ibni inno yitjawaz. Ya Allah, make it easy for him. Ya Allah, make it like this. Okay, but don't say, Ya Allah, I've been waiting to have a BMW. Ya Allah, make sure. So Ahmed, please, when you go there, I know you're. It's a company car. That's his. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. ناطر هو بده يروح على الحج بده BMW. Okay. So none of those du'as, obviously, but we can. And by the way, you can make your dua in English. You can make it in French because you're not doing salat. Okay? So you just connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, I don't want to enter into these things, but Imam Shafi'i said, if you break your wudu while making tawaf, just find out which one is this. That's number 4. But I broke my wudu as I was about to finish it. You basically excuse yourself, you go and make wudu, and then come back from the black stone and start the fourth round, because that is gone, and you do it. Imam Abu Hanifa said, if it's too crowded, don't worry about it, continue. But in Hajj, we want to be extra cautious. So err on the caution side. So if you break your wudu, go, have it, come back and finish. We finished our tawaf, which is a pillar. It's a rukn. Now there is a sunnah, not even a wajib. A sunnah. What is that? It's 2 raka'at mustahab, not sunnah, mustahab, to be behind maqam Ibrahim, which is that encased structure with the marks of the feet of Prophet Ibrahim as he was standing on a rock, and his son Ismail handing him these stones to build the Kaaba. So please don't try to pray behind it, because people will step on you. There are people, wallahi, you've seen it, they make circles around people they want to pray, and they change, and there are people who are coming and they don't know, and many people fall on top of them. And that's not right. That is not right. You can choose any empty spot in Al-Masjid Al-Haram and you pray. Any. Okay? Now, recommended again after the Fatiha of the first rak'ah to recite Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun. After the Fatiha of the second rak'ah, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Okay? And after that, it is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to drink Zamzam. So now, we know that drinking Zamzam is not a pillar, it's not a wajib. You could not drink it in Sahn al-Kaaba because it's so crowded. People are doing Tawaf. Okay, there's no room. Don't drink there. There are 3 stations each way between Safa and Marwa. So you can drink your Zamzam, which is not a wajib, which is not a rukn, there. So you can fulfill the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that comes after the 2 raka'at that we prayed after Tawaf, and we drink it as we are, we can stop. We went to As-Safa and we started our sa'i, then we stop at Zamzam station, we drink, we continue. Okay, we go to Marwa and then we come back. So now it's a pillar to do our sa'i, and it is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you start from As-Safa, because he said, people asked him, where are we going to start, at Marwa or at Safa? So his answer was, we are going to start نبدأ بما بدأ الله به. What did Allah say? Allah said, إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إن الصفا والمروة. So let's start with As-Safa. So his sunnah is to face the Qibla, and it is mustahab to recite إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله, and to say لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. Now, and he said خير ما قاله الأنبياء من قبلي, and he recited لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. Now, and then after that, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and you start from Safa, you go to Marwa. Okay? And there are temptations to make a shortcut. It's so crowded up there at Al-Marwa. So I'm going to sneak my way, okay, and go from Marwa to As-Safa by not going all the way to Marwa. You are basically shortcutting what is complete. So don't do that. Go all the way behind those big pillars and then come from Marwa all the way to As-Safa again, don't shortcut yourself because you could just go without going up on As-Safa. And when you go to As-Safa, there are differences among scholars. Some scholars say, suffice to say what you said, Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'air min hajj, the first time, and then you keep going. Others say no. At As-Safa, you keep repeating it. At Al-Marwa, you repeat it, and you face the Qibla. Now, be on the cautious side, okay? And do it every time. Actually, this is tasbih, this is qira'at Quran, this is dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why are we going to, and be careful, be careful. Many people, after they finish Tawaf, they think Umrah is over. So they start, as they are walking, they think that it's passing time. So did you know that the stock market is really, doing terrible, and, Bitcoins are not doing as, this is not the place to talk about that. So make sure you don't talk about these things, okay? So there you continue your dhikr, your tasbih, your qira'at al-Quran, your dua, okay? This is the same as Tawaf, okay? And now there are 2 green lights. If time permits, I may tell you why do men speed up between the 2 green lights and then they slow down, okay? This is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we do that speeding, okay? So men have to do it, provided they don't lose the women who are accompanying them and then they look for them, they can't find them. No, if that is the case, then stay with your wife, stay with your mother, stay with your sister, okay? So this is sa'i. Now, shortening or shaving of the hair for men, women, they shorten their hair. You, can shorten your hair if you so choose, if you want to, if you are doing tamattu and you are doing umrah and then you are going to have another shortening in order to go into tahleel, better to shorten for umrah and shave for hajj. Okay, again, you don't have to worry about either. Okay, okay. So there are many barbers that are in the basement of the clock towers. They couldn't care less about what is right and what is wrong. Okay, if you go there for health reasons, make sure that they are using a new instrument, and make sure that your chair is facing the Qibla when they do it, because many of them, the chairs are not facing the Qibla, and it's easy for you to tell, say, this is the Qibla, so turn it. It's okay, no, turn towards the Qibla and tell them you start with the right side, then the left, and as they are doing it, you do tasbih, you do dhikr, because you did not, it's a pillar of Umrah or Hajj. It's a pillar. So you don't just say, many people I saw joking with their friends who accompanied them as the person is shaving the, you are joking? You just came out of the Umrah or of the Hajj ritual. So you do tasbih, you do dhikr, you are facing the Qibla, okay? And then after that, you go and you take your shower and you finished your Umrah. Now it's the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. Yes? No. MashaAllah. For sa'i, if you stay keeping your wudu, alhamdulillah. But if you break it during sa'i, everybody is in agreement, you don't have to renew your wudu. You don't have to. Okay, but continue. You continue, yeah, sa'i. Not tawaf. Tawaf, there's difference in opinion, okay? But to be on the cautious side, do your wudu if it is during tawaf, okay? Now, it's the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. It's called Yawm at-Tarwiyah. Yawm at-Tarwiyah, they used to stop at Mina and fill their jugs with water and prepare the food, and because they are going now towards Arafat, they cannot waste time cooking or looking for water or this, because Arafat is the day. Al-Hajj Arafah. So the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, you go to Mina, to your camp, and you have to arrive before Dhuhr. And in Arafat, in Mina, you pray Dhuhr Qasr. But you don't combine it with Asr. Then at Asr time, you pray Asr Qasr, 2 rak'at. Then Maghrib, you pray 3 rak'at. Then Isha, you pray Qasr, 2 rak'at. Then you are told your group is leaving to Arafat now at 1 in the morning, at 2 in the morning. They come and tell you. It's not up to you. Okay? So you leave Mina after having prayed the salawat, Qasr, but not Jama', not combining. Okay? And then you go to Arafat. In Arafat, many people think that once they arrive in Arafat, the day of Arafat started. No. Once you arrive there, please, it's a hint. Go and rest. Take a nap, sleep, rest. Because Arafat starts at Dhuhr till Maghrib. So rest, because you will have a long 36 hours from Dhuhr, the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, till maybe after Isha on the 10th, you will be doing things. That's Hajj. That's Hajj. Hajj actually is 36 hours. But if they give you the minimum you can go is 11 days, yes, because there are other things that you're going to do. But Hajj itself, 36 hours. So you go to Arafat, to your camp, and you rest. And now the Imam will give a khutbah Arafat, and impossible for all the Hujjaj to pray at Namira, at the Masjid of Namira. Okay? So they pray in their camps, led by their Imams. And then they pray 2 rak'at Dhuhr with Iqamah, 2 rak'at Asr with Iqamah, and then they start their Arafat day A'mal. To Iqamah, not Adhan. No, you don't do Adhan. Yeah, no Adhan. You just Iqamah for Dhuhr, and Iqamah for just Iqamah, with 2 Iqamah, not 2 Adhan. Yes. السنة بعد الفجر. السنة, ولكن now, because of the numbers, they come and tell you you are leaving right now. So it could be as early as 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so you have to leave. Okay, now what do we do? Number one, dua. Number 1, dua. Number 2, dhikr. Okay. Number 3, Quran. Number 4, salat. In this order. But do as much dua as you can. Dua Arafah la yurad bi'idhnillah. Dua as much as you can. And, before Maghrib time, usually every camp for about an hour, we engage in a collective dua and imploring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and letting our emotions go. And this is the day, because you may not have this chance again. خير يوم طلعت عليه الشمس يوم عرفة. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at us and is listening to us. And so this is the day. So some people who start from the time they arrive in Arafah, by the time it is after the khutbah, after Dhuhr and Asr, they are so tired, they are sleeping. Ya akhi, you paid all this money and you came all this way. This is the time. So make sure that you are in tip-top shape between the Dhuhr time and Maghrib time, and make dua. And you don't have to read from those booklets without you understanding what you are reading. Make sure that you understand. And start from now. Make your own list of dua. Make, what you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. Then, just before Maghrib, everybody starts to gather, and now by Maghrib time, it is the ifada. Look at the word ifada from fayadan. Because if you would look from helicopter at the Hujjaj leaving Arafat, wallahi, it's like a flood. It's like a flood of people from Arafat towards Muzdalifah. Towards Muzdalifah. And why does it say, ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ? Now, الناس used to do ifada from Arafat. But people of Quraysh, they said, you know what? It's too far for us to go all the way to Arafat. We are going to make Muzdalifah as the hudud of the haram. As the hudud of the haram. So Muzdalifah is part of the hill. Part of the hill. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to tell them, ثُمَّ أَفِيضُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ أَفَاضَ النَّاسِ. And what did he say? وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ. What did he call it? Al-Haram. So Muzdalifah is Al-Mash'ar Al-Haram. It is not Hill, as the people of Quraysh made it to be for convenience sake. They called it Hill. Okay, no. It is Al-Mash'ar Al-Haram in Muzdalifah. And we do ifada from Arafat. We go to Muzdalifah. And in Muzdalifah, by the way, the deepest sleep you can experience is in Muzdalifah. It's not on a soft bed. It's not, it's just on a sheet you may have, or you may not have anything, just on the sand, okay? And, the sky is your cover, basically. And you feel that, you have tried your very best. Before you go to sleep, you would pray Maghrib and Isha, Jama' and Qasr in Muzdalifah. In Muzdalifah. Now the thing that the majority of people, because they were told this and it's wrong, it's wrong. They think that I have to collect my pebbles in Muzdalifah that I'm going to throw in Mina. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay? And there are lots of stones in Mina that you can. But if you couldn't sleep and you are sitting and you want to collect, go ahead and collect. But don't tell others. Many people start to compete in ways that really you will start to detect it when you do Hajj. Often they start to tease each other, say, did you collect your stones? Wallah, it's so difficult. I collected them. And to tease him, okay? Were you able to, make wudu at it took me so long, but ya salam. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Okay, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you tawfiq to do something, keep it yourself. Keep it yourself. So in Muzdalifah, if you're able to collect stones, alhamdulillah. If not, then now, there are people who are sick, who could not use the facilities of Muzdalifah because they have prostate problem, they have diabetes, they have, heart problems, they have this, that. So after the middle of the night, please, the middle of the night is not 12. Many people think middle of the night after 12 midnight. No, it's not. That's why make sure that the mutawwif will calculate it from Maghrib time to Fajr time, divide by 2, and 1 minute after that, that's after midnight. If you are in the group that really needs to leave, but if you can stay till Fajr, you stay till Fajr, and after Fajr you pray Fajr in Muzdalifah, and then you continue. And when you continue, what do? There are 4 things that need to be done. Now, one of them, you will not be able to know at what time, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did these 4 in a certain order. He went and he threw Jamarat al-Aqaba al-Kubra. Then he came and he offered the Udhiyah. Then he shaved. Then he went and did Tawaf al-Ifada. But then he came back and he stood at a rock in Mina, and people started to ask him questions. Somebody said, Ya Rasulullah, without realizing, I shaved before I did my udhiyah. He said, ضحي ولا حرج. يعني do it now. Ya Rasulullah, I shaved before I threw the pebbles. جمرة العقبة. ارمي ولا حرج. And ولم يسأل عن شيء إلا قال افعل ولا حرج. This is a very famous hadith narrated through the authority of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. Very famous hadith. Which means that don't start to tell people, oh, you know what, you should. No, anything. Now, where the hint I'm going to give you, okay, out of experience, and this is the most important tip, okay? The best thing to do after you do ifadah from Muzdalifah, after you finish Muzdalifah, go all the way to Mecca. All the way. Do Tawaf al-Ifadah. Do your sa'i. Okay? Come back. Throw the jamara. Okay? Shave and take a shower. This way you will miss the big crowds. This way you will miss the big crowds. But if you move with what people insist on doing, you will be caught in these crowds. Yes. No, if you did sa'i for umrah and you did tahallul and you are doing tamattu', you know, the sa'i of Hajj is different than the sa'i of umrah. But if you did qiran, you combined umrah and Hajj, you do not have to repeat the sa'i of Hajj, because you did it when you did your umrah and you stayed in Ihram. But people are going to do tamattu' anyway. Okay? Yeah, that's right. That's the whole thing. And then you come back after. Okay, excellent question. No, excellent question. Okay, I'll tell you later. Okay, mashallah alayk. Okay, 2 out of 4 of these 4 will allow you to take your ihram and dress, but you know, you will not feel comfortable unless, you know, you shave and you take a shower, then you put on your thawb. You will not feel comfortable. Okay, so it's a practical kind of thing. But the rule is 2 out of 4. This is at-tahallul al-asghar, the minor tahallul. Once you finish the 4, then it is tahallul al-akbar. And, you know, the difference in tahallul al-asghar, tahallul al-akbar is basically to be with your wife, okay? That's what tahallul al-akbar. But, I mean, who's thinking about that when they are in Hajj? هو الأضحية، ما هو نقول من 4 بس هي الثلاثة لأنه الأضحية someone else is doing it on your behalf. Okay, so this is basically very quickly before Iqamah for Isha, I want to mention some of the things that why we do this. You know, in Sa'i, why do we speed up between al-milayn al-akhdarayn? At the time of Hajar alayhi salam, the area was volcanic and there used to be spikes of stones in the landscape, and to walk you really needed to be very careful. So Hajar, after she came from Safa, she had to walk like this. When she encountered a smooth laid area, she wanted to reach Al-Marwa as quickly as possible, so she moved fast, and then she was slowed down by more spikes, and that's why we do this. So this is symbolic that we are emulating the example of Hajar. Okay, now I just want to mention that the Kaaba الأذان as what time at quarter بس 5 دقائق okay الكعبة by the way now is different than when it was built by Adam alayhi salam. By the way, the Kaaba was built and rebuilt 12 times. 12 times. First, it was built by the Malaika. Number 2, by Adam alayhi salam. Number 3, by his son Sheeth. No, fourth. No, total 12. So first time the angels, then Adam, then Sheeth alayhi salam. Number 4, Ibrahim and Ismail. Ibrahim and Ismail. Number 5, it was the sixth grandfather of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Qusay ibn Kilab. Qusay ibn Kilab. Number 6, it was the building of Quraysh, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put the stone and they held from every corner. Sorry, that's number 7. Number 6 is Al-Amaliq, Al-Amaliq of Palestine. They were number 6. Number 7, it was Quraysh. Number 8, it was Abdullah ibn Zubair. Number 9, it was Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. Number 10, it was Al-Mahdi al-Abbasi. Number 11, it was the Ottoman Sultan by the name of Abdul Majid. Okay, and number 12, it was King Fahd in 1984. That was number 12. And by the way, one thing they found, that the only wall of the Kaaba that they found is still standing on its original foundation was the wall between Al-Rukn al-Yamani and the Rukn of the Black Stone. It's the only one standing on its original foundation. And what did they find? They found green rocks that were put together without any cement or mortar or anything. And they measured the tensile strength, which engineers understand. The tensile, they found it stronger than any foundation that carries skyscrapers. Very strong. So they kept that wall between Ar-Rukn al-Yamani and the Black Stone standing there, and then the others were built. By the way, the Kaaba is not a perfect cube. The Kaaba is 14 meters in height. The widest wall is the one that has the door to the Kaaba. The door to the Kaaba, that's the widest wall. It's 12.54 meters. 12.54. The next is the one opposite on the other side. It's 12.11 meters. Then it is the wall between Ar-Rukn al-Yamani and the Rukn of Al-Hajar al-Aswad. Okay, it's 11.56 meters. And then the wall next to Al-Hatim or Hijr Ismail, that's 11.11 meters. And so the Kaaba, as you can see, is like a trapezoidal structure. Naam. It has to be. You know why? Because at the time of Quraysh, they cut 3 meters from the original building of the Kaaba because they ran out of money. So they cut 3 meters. So the 3 meters next to the wall of the Kaaba from that side used to be inside. That's why people fight to pray in that area. Okay, so that's, and there are many things. The slant at the bottom was added during the time of Abdullah ibn Zubair, and there are 55 rings around it to tie the Thawb al-Kaaba around it. And inside the Kaaba there's absolutely nothing except to the right there is 50 spiral steps that take to the roof of the Kaaba, because they used to climb on them to put the kiswa, okay, but now they use machinery, okay, so it's, they covered it with a curtain called Bab at-Tawbah, and there are three pillars of wood inside it, and that's it. It's empty, okay? And the black stone, by the way, is made of 8 pieces that are embedded in a resin, okay? That, by the way, is sanitized and with camphor. Camphor has sanitizing properties, and that's why people kiss it and nothing happens, okay? There's a lot, but inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the ibadah of those who are going for Hajj, and for those who are contemplating, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر